and nutrients to grow plants in a controlled environment. Plants are grown in special nutrient-rich water droplets, allowing for higher crop yields with less land, water, and fertilizer use. Hydroponic farms are becoming popular in Australia due to their sustainability benefits, low inputs cost, and ability to produce high quality crops without pesticides or other harmful chemicals. The main benefits of hydroponic farming is that it requires very little maintenance. There is no worry about weeds growing and taking over plants ground, but need only to check regular water and nutrients. This makes hydroponic farming perfect for small spaces or areas that don't have access to land. Hydroponic farming is a form of agriculture in which plants are grown in water containers instead of soil. Hydroponic farming has become popular in Australia over the past few years due to its environmental and economic benefits. Different types of hydroponic farming in Australia. The nutrients film technique is a variation on soil-less hydroponics that provides higher yields by using a layer of inert material such as vermiculite or rock wool between the plants and the soil below. NFT system, the more expensive to set up than soil-less systems, but offer greater flexibility because they can be adapted to various climates and soils. Drip irrigation is another popular type of hydroponic farming system because it allows for precise watering control. In addition, drip irrigation systems are relatively simple to install and can be adapted to various settings, including small farms and large commercial farms. Hydroponic farms are profitable in Australia. This farming method is becoming more popular in Australia because of the benefits it has to offer. It is a type of farming that uses water and sunlight to grow plants. This method has many advantages over traditional methods, including less use of inputs, reduced waste creation, and high yields. In general, hydroponic farms are profitable if they can match or exceed the production levels of traditional farming. Factors that affect profitability include the price of inputs, yields, obtained cost of land, and other related expenses, and government support. In some cases, hydroponic farms may be less profitable than traditional farming due to the higher cost associated with implementing the technology. Commercial hydroponic farming has been increasing in popularity in Australia over the past few years. Technology is seen as more sustainable and environmentally friendly than traditional farming. And installation costs are of the main cost associated with setting up a hydroponic farm. These vary depending upon the system chosen, but generally involve purchasing tanks and other equipment necessary for growing plants in water rather than soil. Additionally, additional cost may be associated with training farmers to operate a hydroponic system effectively. This farming method is becoming more popular in Australia because it is low input, requires little space, and produce high yields. The setup cost for hydroponic farming in Australia depends on the farm size, but typically cost between $10,000 to $15,000. Right hydroponics media in Australia. When choosing the right hydroponic media in Australia, your specific needs and goals must be kept in mind. The some key factors are considered. Number one, temperature. Hydroponic system operate best at temperatures between 18 to 24 degrees Celsius. Soil type. The best option for hydroponic systems that use soil is organic matter mixed with sand or gravel. Loam or clay soil will not provide the necessary level of oxygen and nutrients for optimal growth. Fertilizer recommendation. In general, fertilizers for hydroponics should be lower in nitrogen and higher in phosphorus. Moisture availability. Media that is too wet will cause roots to grow slowly, while too dry will cause plant growth too hard to weather. Finding a balance that provides just enough moisture without allowing water to seep through the substrate is important. How to set up a hydroponic farm in Australia? Hydroponic farming is a moderated agriculture method that uses water, air, and nutrient reservoirs to grow plants without using soil. Plants are placed in trays or baskets and receive water, nutrients, and air through tubing. The main benefits of hydroponic farming is that it eliminates the need for pesticides and herbicides, which can harm humans and the environment. The first step in setting up a hydroponic farm is choosing a well drained site with plenty of sunlight. Once the site is selected, planners must create a water reservoir by drilling an underground pipe or constructing a large tank. Next, they will need to install pumps, tanks to hold the water, and plumbing to distribute air and nutrients throughout the growing area. Finally, planners must install meters to monitor water usage to avoid overwatering or underwatering plants. Once all the necessary equipment has been installed, farmers must begin preparing the soil. By composting organic matter such as leaves and grasses, farmers help improve soil quality while reducing the required fertilizers. After preparing the soil, farmers can begin planting seeds in trays or baskets filled with nutrient-rich water. Depending on the type of hydroponic system, chosen plants may require different amounts of light and water. However, all growers should aim to provide enough moisture so that the roots do not dry up. Business plan of hydroponic farming in Australia. Hydroponic farming is growing plants in a nutrient-rich water solution instead of soil. This method is becoming more popular because it's more sustainable, efficient, and affordable than traditional farming. To start hydroponic farming in Australia, first you will need a hydroponic system. This is a system designed to grow plants in water without any soil or organic material. After that, buy a complete system or build your own using parts from specialist supplier. Then need planting media. This is the base layer on which plants will grow. Several types of planting material are available, including cocoa coir, perlite, and vermiculite. Next, need fertilizers and pesticides to keep plants healthy. Fertilizers contain essential nutrients that help plants grow. Pesticides kill harmful insects and disease. Also need water tanks to store the hydroponic effluent, the plant-free water used by the system. Once you have all the supplies required for hydroponic farming, it's time to set up your system. A business plan includes an analysis of your expenses, revenues, and margins. Be sure to include your business goals and objectives and financial projections. There may be grants for small businesses or loans from banks and other lenders may be available if you have solid business plan and adequate collateral. Find certified professional to help for running farm efficiently and effectively. Hydroponic growers need to know about horticulture and agriculture production methods, so it is important to find someone with experience in both fields who can help you get started on the right foot. A proper system will make running your farm much easier from seed cultivation to packaging and shipping products to consumers. Important rules to be followed by hydroponic farming in Australia. To start hydroponic farming in Australia, purchase suitable land for the practice. Install appropriate water and light fixture and ensure crops are properly irrigated. Need to create a system for harvesting crops, typically using a machine that pulls the plants off the ground. While starting with hydroponic farming may be more complicated than the traditional farming, the rewards can be significant. Hydroponic farms can produce significantly more food per unit area than the traditional farms, making them an attractive option for small scale producers. Additionally, hydroponic systems are less prone to environmental disaster and disaster than traditional farming practices, making them a viable option for environmental friendly farmers. Crops suitable for hydroponic farming in Australia. Many crops can be grown hydroponically in Australia. Some of the most common crops include lettuce, tomatoes, pumpkins, cucumbers, squash, and peppers. The main hydroponic crops grown in Australia are herbs, vegetables, fruits, and flowers. The sector is currently dominated by small scale operators who account for over 95% of all production. Australian hydroponic farmers can generate a significant income from their operation thanks to the high demand for produce grown using environmentally friendly practices. Overall, hydroponic farming is a highly efficient and sustainable form of agriculture that is gaining, gaining popularity in Australia. Many plants can be grown in a hydroponic system, including vegetables, fruits, flowers, and herbs. The most common type of hydroponic plant is cannabis, the cannabis plant, which is used to produce both recreational and medicinal marijuana. marijuana. Maintenance tips for hydroponic system. Make sure regularly clean hydroponic system. This means cleaning the grow beds, water reservoir, and other parts of the system that get dirty. It can do hose or a using a hose or a bucket with soapy water. Adjust the pH balance of hydroponic system regularly. This is done by adding lime to the water reservoir or citric acid to the growing media. The pH balance determines how acidic or alkaline the water is and affects plant growth and health. Keep an eye on the plant's watering needs. A rule of thumb is to water plants once a week during hot weather and twice a week in cold weather. But it's always best to check with the hydroponic specialist for specific advice on watering schedules for specific system. Mulch plants regularly to keep them cool and moist inside their growing containers and to prevent weed growth. It can use organic matter such as leaves, straw, wood chips, synthetic mulches such as bark or wood pellets. Growing tips for hydroponic farming. Select the right medium. Hydroponic systems use a wide variety of media, from sand to recycled water bottles, to provide nutrients and support plant growth. Before selecting a medium, test a small patch to see what type of growth occurs. Avoid overwatering. Avoid overwatering. Overwatering can cause root rot, killing your plants. Too little water also can result in dry roots and foliage. Check the soil often and adjust watering as needed. Use a timer. Set a timer for 12 to 24 hours to help regulate watering levels automatically. Create an irrigation plan. Once the system is established and determine how much water each plant needs, create, a, create an irrigation plan based on that information. Know where all the plumbing is located so it can easily turn on the water when needed. Hydroponic system setup requirement in Australia. Hydroponic farming is a sustainable agriculture method using water, sunlight, and organic matter to produce crops without the use of soil. In Australia, hydroponic farming is still in its early stages of development, but some requirements must be met to set up a successful hydroponic farm. Firstly, the hydroponic farm must have access to ample water supplies. The spacing between plants and the amount of water used each day will all depend on the climate and soil type of the area in which the farm is located. Generally, farms in hotter climates should use more water than those in cooler climates. Secondly, sunlight is essential for performing hydroponic farming. The plants need at least 6 hours of sunlight daily to grow properly. Supplemental lighting can be used if sunlight cannot reach the plants directly. Thirdly, the land used for hydroponic farm must be free from weeds and other competing vegetation. This can be difficult to achieve, so it is important to consult a professional before starting a hydroponic farm. Hydroponic farming states in Australia. There are several hydroponic farms in Australia, each producing various crops. Some farms specialize in fruits and vegetables, while others grow flowers or herbs. The farms vary in size from small operations that produce just a few hundred pounds per day to larger farms that can produce thousands that can produce tens of thousands of pounds per day. There are many hydroponic farming areas across Australia, with the most popular locations being Sydney, Melbourne. However, other states also have several hydroponic farms, including Queensland, Western Australia, and New South Wales. How does hydroponic farming work? It is a type of farming where crops are grown in water instead of soil. The plants are irrigated with a constant flow of water and minerals, which keeps them healthy and allows them to produce larger amounts of food without pesticides or other chemicals. However, farming is becoming more popular in Australia because it is easier to maintain than traditional farming methods, produce less waste, and can be done indoors in colder climates. Problems of hydroponic farming in Australia. One major problem is water availability. Although hydroponic systems are less water than traditional farming, they still require an adequate clean water supply. This is especially challenging in Australia, where there are often restrictions on how much water can be used for irrigation. Additionally, many hydroponic farms are located near sources of pollution, which can lead to environmental damage. Another challenge for hydroponic farmers is best and easy. Without soil to support plant growth, plants are more vulnerable to pest and disease. In addition, since hydroponic systems do not rely on weather patterns or seasonal changes, they are particularly susceptible to climatic disaster such as floods or drought. Finally, due to cost concerns, hydroponic farming has yet to be widely adopted in Australia. While the technology does not require high levels of infrastructure or technological expertise, it does require significant upfront cost that may be difficult for small scale farmers to overcome. Hydroponic challenges in Australia. The biggest challenge facing hydroponic farmers in Australia is weather variability. Climate change is likely to increase the intensity and duration of rainfalls and cyclones, which could disrupt hydroponic crops. However, with careful planning and maintenance, hydroponic farms can still thrive in various climates. Australia, with its long dry season and extreme temperatures, is not a typical country for hydroponic farming. However, some farmers use hydroponic techniques to grow crops in otherwise unsuitable areas. Hydroponic farming challenges in Australia include dealing with high winds and lower humidity in some areas. It can be concluded here hydroponic farming is becoming increasingly popular in Australia, with many farmers opting to adopt this type of farming to suit their specific needs. Overall, hydroponic farming is becoming more popular in Australia due to its potential benefits for producers and consumers. For example, it requires less land than traditional farming methods, which can be helpful in regions with limited resources and producing crops with minimal. Thank you. Like and comment, please.